Hello and welcome to the 8th devlog for Blue Sky Aces, a World War I flight simulator inspired by the games I played during the 90s. Last time I asked for your feedback on the demo and you really delivered, so thank you very much. It was extremely helpful to get your views on what you liked and more importantly what you wanted changed. The last 2 weeks have been spent implementing a lot of your suggestions and it's made a huge difference to the game. So in this video I'm going to cover some of the changes. The first item worked on was a target lead indicator to help players know where they should be aiming. For those of you familiar with aerial gunnery, you'll know that you need to aim where the enemy aircraft will be when your bullets reach the target and not where they are now. This is often referred to as leading the target and can be very tricky, especially when the other aircraft is travelling perpendicular to your flight path. The maths to calculate the optimal lead position can be done in a few ways. But for now I've gone with the simplest approach of estimating the time for the bullet to reach the target and then using that combined with the enemy velocity vector to calculate the estimated position. This approach doesn't take into account gravity or drag on the bullet, however it seems to work well enough for my situation. The next item was an aim assistant mode, which is primarily intended for those using controllers. However, it will work with all the input options. I deliberated on the exact form this would take for quite a while before I finally settled on what can best be described as a sticky crosshair. The theory is that the crosshair will gravitate towards the target lead indicator when the angle between the gun and the lead indicator position is really close. This approach means that you'll still need to get the crosshair on or really close to the target lead indicator. However, it will appear to stick to the target lead indicator for a fraction of a second longer than it might otherwise have, giving you a chance to get a short burst into the target. This approach also means that what would have been a really near miss may well become a hit. Another change was to add a small amount of random spread to the bullets. Initially this was supposed to just be a cosmetic improvement, however it turned out to also make shooting targets easier. Once again, what might have been a near miss often turns out to be a hit, as at least some of the bullets in a burst will deviate enough to hit the target. Some of you said that you wanted more feedback on whether or not your shots were hitting the target and when the target was destroyed. To address this, I've added short messages which appear when you hit or destroy a target. The next item wasn't planned, but I decided to give it a go after a conversation where it came up yet again. This was a first-person cockpit camera mode, something that was always on my radar but just never got high enough in my priority list to get done until now. In theory, this isn't a difficult task as you simply put a camera in the cockpit. However, theories have a tendency to be much harder to implement in practice, so I spent an hour on Saturday to prove the theory could work. At the end of that hour I was sold. It not only worked, but it completely changed the feel of the game, and added a whole new dimension that I just had to find a way to deliver for Steam Next Fest. The only problem was that this was only left me one day and one evening to make it happen. Sunday was spent getting the essential parts working, which included the ability to look around while in the cockpit. Unfortunately, it didn't all go to plan and I had some issues with the mouse lock, so I made a call to move on and revisit it later. This left Monday night to update the UI to make it easier to discover the feature and deploy the new build to Steam. Needless to say that I didn't get to bed until just after midnight, but it didn't matter too much as the next day was a public holiday here in New Zealand. I'd be keen to hear your feedback on this feature, so leave a comment below and let me know whether you like it or not. The last change made was a what's new dialogue. That just helps me to communicate any future changes to players. I haven't had a chance to validate the translations for this screen yet, so my apologies if you're viewing it in a language other than English and you spot something wrong. If you do, then just leave a comment and I'll do my best to fix it up. For the next couple of weeks I'm hoping to get back to creating new content, which will include creating some missions for the new Ypres map. I also want to start planning a progression system where you unlock new features as you progress. At this stage I'm thinking that you unlock new missions and aircraft as you progress through each year of the war. But I'd be keen to hear your views, so drop me a message in the comments and let me know your ideas. Well, that's it for this time. If you enjoyed this, then please hit the like button. It's a tiny thing, but it really does help get more people to view these videos. And subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date with my progress. If you'd like to know more, then check out the link in the description to the game's Steam page and give the demo a try. And don't forget to wishlist it so you'll be notified of any updates.